Hi, mermaids. I want to talk about the importance of having provisioning list set up. I know that many of you are on trips or charters, and you have back-to-back trips or charters. So yeah, this is really important. Okay, so the benefits of having this list, so basically it's like shop list, right? Set up are that one, you don't waste time when you go shopping, which that translate you're honoring and respecting the time of your other crew members who are also working really hard because it's really yeah, it's not cool to go shopping and take, the whole day, or even worse, going after hours, if it's not needed. This is what I'm talking about. There's certain circumstances that things are a bit different, but if you have a 1 day turnaround kind of thing, which translates to having the evening off, and you go shopping like at 3 p.m. and then come back at 6 or 7, that means that your team members have to wait for you, right? Because they're team players, so they want to help you when you bring the provisionings. And that's not cool because you're not respecting the fact that they're also tired and that they also, as you, need some time off to decompress. So keep that in mind when you go shopping. So you're not gonna waste time, you're not gonna waste any other people's time, and you're gonna honor your time and their time. Apart from that, you're not gonna waste money. It is your duty as a chief stew or person who's in charge of provisioning to look after the assets of the owner or charter guests, okay? So that's why you should treat things as they are your own. The same way you don't waste your money probably. You shouldn't do that to their money, because that's not what is expected of you. So when you know exactly what you need, quantities, etc., it's like very black and white. You can go in and out, get what you need, and that's it. When you don't have this in place, what happens is you go in, you start going, it's like a candy land, right? And you're like, oh, and I could use that, and I could use that. It's like, honestly, no, like that's not what you need. So it's okay if you forget something and then you see it, then great, you can add that. But you should be able to stick to the list. Then another aspect is budgeting. So if you're on a budget, obviously this is really important because this helps you understand how to stay on the budget, or if you don't have a budget, how to start creating a budget, okay? Because you need to know how much are you spending weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, per season, whether it's, spending in the Caribbean and then versus spending in the Med, what's the difference? So you can really, budget yourself, and the owner can see that you're organized and professional and that you're looking out for their assets, and that you have come up with your own budget, and you're like, this is what honestly what works, really good to be successful, on this vessel. This list, my list, that I personally use and create, they act as also as a bit of an inventory, like a fast track inventory, where basically I have my stock and then what I need to purchase all in one. That way I can also, is a guideline of what I'm actually utilizing per week, per month, per season. So that way I know what I actually need in each season to be successful, and quantities. And this comes really helpful when you are, let's say something like you're in Fort Lauderdale and you're going to the Caribbean season and you really want to stock on as much things as possible because it's so much cheaper in America, to buy toilet paper and all that, trash bags and all that stuff. So obviously with keeping in mind what space you have on the boat, and what are the most expensive things that you can actually cut down financially, that you can save on, and then purchase that. But you can only know that when you actually have done this, when you have budgeted yourself, where you know what you actually have used in the past and that it actually works, and then you can say, okay, well, for 6 months that I'm gonna be, or 4 months that I'm gonna be down in the Caribbean, I need this amount of laundry detergent. I can carry right now on the boat this amount. Okay, well, I'm gonna take that, and then all I have to do at the end of the season is just supply a little bit more if needed. So stuff like that. So it's really, really important, because these lists are not just like for shopping, it's for the entire understanding of the provisioning of the vessel. And when you transition from the vessel to another vessel, if that's the case, then you really leave a beautiful guideline for the next person, which I think it's, your duty, if we're talking about shifts to duties, this is part of your job. Another thing is, one thing that I implement is that I tell all the crew, this is the notice board, this is the whiteboard. Please, if you're running out of something, add it there. Before I go shopping, I always ask the deck crew, the engineers, the captain, even the chef, like everybody on the boat, like, I'm going shopping. Is there something that you truly need? So, yes. Then let's talk about the lists. So I have some essential lists that I travel with everywhere I go. It has really, really helped me so much, because every vessel I come in, most of them, pretty much every vessel I've been on, they don't have any system implemented, like a management interior system. So you're kind of like thrown into the lion's mouth. And if you don't have this system with you, like, your own management system, it's gonna be really hard for you to provision for other vessels. So what I do is, like, I have my own, I go in, I know the essentials I need to run a vessel with because of this, because of the list that I have. And then I can just add, okay, this new crew, what do they need? Personal stuff, little things, that I can then ask. And then obviously the preferences for the owner or the charter guest. So I go into any vessel feeling secure and looking as a professional, because I am. The lists are as follow. I have a crew, which that translates to having your laundry, your office supplies, your any deck, engineer stuff, whatever it is, also in that list. All that you're entitled to purchase for the crew, which usually is snacks and drinks, and obviously toiletries. So that's really important. Then you have your owner list, which is like the essentials of, doesn't matter what owner is, they are gonna need, or that you're actually gonna need in order to succeed in your job. And then you can add the preferences of that owner into the list. Same goes with charter. So I have a crew list, I have an owner list, I have a charter list, then I have a galley list, because sometimes I have to purchase stuff for the chef, and some chefs don't have a provisioning list, believe it or not. And this is why a lot of these chefs overbuy. Sorry guys, it's the truth. The same as, other stewardess doing the same, because they don't have a list or they don't stick to the list. So anyway, if you're also a stew cook, this is amazing, because you have that. Then I have a medical list that kind of gives me, that reminds me of what I truly need medical wise, apart from obviously the emergency stuff that the boat may have, that I need to have in case anything happens on a vessel while we're on a trip. Then I have my provisioning company list, because when you are in need of using a provisioning company, because you can go out to actually shop for yourself, what I have found is that it's not, if you just send an email, like, it's not good. You have to be very specific. And when you have a list that you can literally fill in and then send the PDF, it's black and white, nobody's lost, everybody knows exactly what you're asking for. You can even add images to it, whatever it is. And then it is your duty to keep track of this with this provisioning company, because what tends to happen is that if they don't find what you asked for, they'll send you something similar, or they won't send it at all. So you have to keep track, and you have to keep contact with them and ask them, hey, if you don't find something, please let me know so we can make a new decision on it. Or prior to it, you can give them different options, whether that be, if you can find a replacement that is similar, or don't give me anything at all. Because they won't tell you this stuff. And once you get the order, you're like, oh my God, like, I didn't order that, or I didn't get this. And they just don't do it. So it's your duty to keep track of that. So another thing is taxis and deliveries and all this. So again, it is your duty to look after the assets of the owner and the charter guests, right? So if you are in a marina and the supermarket is like 3 minute walk, please don't, it's really ridiculous to take a taxi that costs $20 to just drop you off. Walk. And then when you come back, and this is not being cheap, this is actually thinking with the mindset, I am going to look after the asset. The same way you probably wouldn't spend $20 on a taxi because it's ridiculous, really. When you can walk 3 minutes, why would you do that to other people's money? So be professional, and do your job correctly. So when you get there, most of these supermarkets have free deliveries, so you can even tap into that, or if not, then take a taxi. Also, I see a lot of crew. I'm gonna take a taxi and I'm gonna have it all day low. Well, if you get a great deal, awesome. But if not, seriously, don't do that. Like, have them take you there and then pick you up when you're ready. It's not a big deal, honestly. And you can call them while you're on the paying, while you're doing that. You can call them so they can be there exactly when you come up. So, yeah. These days, many of the places where yachts are, they supermarkets, they're wanting to help us. They want to give us what we need. So you can send them an email with the specifics, and then again, you can use, if you have your provision company, you can use that for the supermarket as well. Some supermarkets have their own as well, and then just use that, put your order in, and then get a deliverer, and then only go to the supermarket for really small things that you personally want to choose or want to see what the options are. Try to do this in teamwork, like if the chef's going and you need to go, do it together, help each other out, be team players, that's that. I hope this helps and takes you to the next step in your career. Thank you.